In this video, I'm going to show you how you can create these amazing extruded types in 4 steps. Yes, it is easy, no plugin is required, and everyone with any After Effects skill set can create this type of animation. So let's go towards step 1. Make a composition and start with a letter. For this video, I'm going to use O letter, which I think is a bit tricky. Remember, the font you choose matter a lot in these type of animations. For this animation, I'm going to use a Sovereign font. Alright, now I will duplicate this text and I'm gonna call it guide layer, and I will tell you why in a second. Then I'm gonna open the position property and I am going to set a keyframe on position on 1 second, and I'm going to push the text up on almost 45-degree angle, and then on 2 seconds I'm going to place it back to its original position, and then I'm going to use motion tools and I will set the easings on 70%. Now, in order to create an extrude, we need to use few effects. The main effect we are going to work with it is Minimax. Now, Minimax effect looks at each pixel and forces it to become either the minimum or the maximum value of the pixel in a specific radius. And this can be helpful in polishing up keyed footage, removing strokes, cleaning up noisy edges, and other such purposes. And for this video, we are going to use Minimax to create a long shadow for our text. Now let's apply the effect first, and then we need to change the channel to alpha and color. Now, if I increase the radius, as you see, the layer expands on both horizontal and vertical directions. But I only want to expand it on the vertical axis, so I'm going to change the direction to vertical. Okay, but now there are a few limitations that we need to fix. The first thing is that we need to be able to change the rotation or the position of the Minimax effect. And as you see, the Minimax doesn't offer anything regarding it. So we are going to add a transform effect. And now let's add a fill and CZ composite effect so we can see our main text better. Now, the first thing I want to do is that I want to offset the long shadow and the main letter by 1 pixel. So whenever I increase the radius, the position changes by 1 pixel. And in this way, we will fix the wrong positioning that we have in here. So I'm going to hold Alt and then I will click on the anchor point to set an expression. So let's remove everything that After Effects wrote. And now let's start by open bracket, value, open bracket 0, close bracket, comma, value, open bracket 1, close bracket, minus, and then let's use the pick whip tool and pick whip the anchor point to the radius of the Minimax effect, and then let's close the bracket. Now, as you see, when I move the radius by 1 pixel, it will remove the pixel from the Y value of the anchor point, and this will offset the effect on top of the text, which is what we want. Now we need to fix the rotation of the layer. As you see, when I rotate it, it just rotates the effect. So now if I add another transform effect, and this time I will move it on top of the Minimax effect. Now if I change the rotation, for example for 45-degree, and then I can rotate the top transform effect for the same negative degree to fix the rotation. So we can use another expression to fix this rotation. So let's set everything on 0, and now let's hold Alt and click on the rotation of the transform effect, and then let's pick whip it to the rotation of the transform 2 effect. But let's just add a minus before everything. Okay, now as you see, everything is fixed. Alright, now let's animate the radius parameter. So we are going to use the guide layer so we don't increase the radius more than the original O shape. And then we'll make sure that easings are equal on each set of keyframes. Alright, now we don't need this guide layer anymore, so let's just delete it. Now, off to the next step, which is subscribe. If you have enjoyed this video so far, consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. As you see, the channel sits on 370 subscribers. And as I uploading this video, so there is a long way ahead of me and it won't be possible to reach my YouTube goals without your support. So hit that subscribe button now and let's move to the next step. So now it is time to add a stroke to our text. Now select the text, right click on it, in layer style select the stroke. Now you can change the color and stroke thickness like this. Now we can select the pen tool and we can create an extrude line for our effect. So let's draw a line and let's round the edges. Okay, now let's call it line 1 and let's parent it to the original text so it follows the movement of the main text. And then let's use the track matte whip to set the track matte on alpha so the line gets hidden when it is outside of the shape layer. Great, now let's create another line for the in between and let's do the same step really quick. Alright, now off to the last step, which is masking. Now it is time to add a color variation using mask effect. So I'm going to duplicate the O text one more time and then I'm going to call it O color. Now with the layer selected, I'm going to draw a mask around the area I want to change the color. Now, it is better to remove the layer styles for the second layer as the first layer already has one. And now, let's adjust the mask. And lastly, let's change its color and adjust it. Now, this step can be a bit tricky as the mask effect is heavily infected by the transform and minimax effect. So you need to try a couple of times in order to find the perfect mask positioning. Now let's duplicate the layer one more time and let's remove the mask. Now let's create another mask. And as you see, this time we can't remove the bottom part of the mask. So to fix that issue, we can play with the radius parameter on minimax and we can do a frame by frame approach. Okay, all done. Now, this was only for the O letter, as I encourage you to play with the other letters. Now, the principles are the same for each letter, and if you have still a problem, take a look at the project file in here. Well, here we are at the end of this video. So, if you have enjoyed this video, consider a like and subscribing to this channel. Thank you so much, and I see you in the next video. Goodbye.